This is Lyle Fast from the No Spoof Zone. We are at Amphora, New York City, West Village, hip wine bar, couches, purple couches. I didn't even notice that. Burgundy couches almost, the color of wine. I could spill this and no one would care. Wonderful. And that's a risky thing. Leather couches in a wine bar. Props to the owner. What do we have today? We have Jean-Paul Brun Moulin. Jean-Paul Brun, Beaujolais producer, unbelievable, profound, classic producer. And Moulin is a relatively new wine from him. He used to just make kind of Beaujolais Village and maybe a couple other crus, but his Moulin has turned into his best wine. 08 is the vintage, and 08 is not the easiest vintage in Beaujolais, not the hardest vintage either. Some people missed, some people hit it really hard. Brun's wines typically need, I'd say, a year to 3 to 4 years to really develop, and in a vintage like 08, I'd actually give them a little bit more time to develop. But also his wines do something very strange. Sometimes they turn corners when you would least expect it. And like the 08 Flurry, which is another cru in Beaujolais, was like really angry forever, and it just started to come around in the last 2 or 3 months. It was angry, I mean angular, tannic, hard, out of balance, but still you could tell that there was stuff there. Let's see how the Moulin is doing. And Moulin typically is going to be a much bigger wine than Fleury. Maybe one of the biggest crus out there actually, next to Cote de Bruy or something. Beautiful nose, but it's definitely got that 08 thing going on. 08 is a very earth, terroir-centered vintage, while 09 is, you know, the vintage everyone's freaking out about, is a big, huge fruit bomb vintage, but still with great underlying terroir. Because, you know, Beaujolais, all right, I'll say it. I think Beaujolais, really good Beaujolais grown in the proper site with the intensiveness of a great winemaker, shows terroir almost as transparently as Mosel Riesling. I think there is a lot of similarity between the two. Unfortunately, there aren't as many good sites in Beaujolais as there are in the Mosel, just because, you know, the Mosel is the Mosel. And yes, I can bring the Mosel up pretty much into any wine discussion, no matter what it is. One of my great talents. Awesome. Big, furry, tannins. Oh my goodness. But beautiful fruit, but not like beautiful, rich, vibrant, puppy 09 fruit. Classic 08 Moulin, structured, not too sweet. It's got like that earthy sweetness that you get out of like a classically styled wine. Good juiciness, wonderful purity, long delineation. This wine will age for 15 years, there's no question. It's got that girth to it, you know. If this is something, you know, I would be, if I was in the wilderness, into the wild style, I'd bring this wine, because it would go really well with like freshly killed meat, not cooked, I think. This is a wild wine. Yeah, I need this when I go on like my, you know, shamanic quest or something. Not for people who don't like tannin. It is tannin, tannin, tannin. There is a lot of tannin. It's big and it goes everywhere in your mouth. But as soon as that tannin hits your mouth, it's like someone's got some sort of squeegee and they start squeegeeing fruit out. Because the fruit is really intense. Wow. This is a serious wine, and they have it here in Amphora by the glass. I think this would kill with some of their, you know, cheeses, like a, you know, a really intense cow's milk cheese or something, hard cheese. I think it would be perfect. You know, treat this kind of the way you would treat a, like, I don't know, you know, even a Roquefort, a blue cheese, I think it would go really well with too. You know, I think it's got the intensity to stand up to something like that. And Jean-Paul Brun, the man does not make bad wine, any way, shape, or form. And even in a difficult vintage like 08, you know, he let the vintage do what it does, and It's just absolutely startling wine. I'm very, very happy with it. So don't discount that 08 Beaujolais is a crappy vintage. You know, everyone is so vintage focused in this wine culture that we live in right now, especially in the United States. How can you really tell if a winemaker is a good winemaker? An easy vintage or a difficult vintage? Obviously a difficult vintage, you know? An easy vintage, you hear all the quotes, the grapes, they never look so good, the wine made itself. You know, wonderful, that's great, but if you're a good winemaker, these are the vintages that you can really tell if you're going to be a good winemaker. And Jean-Paul Brun is a good winemaker because he killed this wine in 08. I mean, it's almost as good as the 09. I need to have one more sip. This is my third sip, I think. I like this wine. Yeah, this is the juice. Beautiful. Wild Fast, and New York City. Furry, tannic mouth. Signing out from the No Spoof Zone.